Alright, we're letting the paint dry. It's not quite 62 in here and it's colder outside, so the paint just wants to run, so I'm just kind of letting it flow, semi-drying where it is. So I'm going to put some 5-inch springs in here. I just kind of did a quick hand job, looked at it, and these 4s are a little on the short side. I'll try mounting these 5s on here and see what we got to do to make these mount up on here. So I'm not sure how we're going to mount these. Sure, it's going to be interesting. It's going to require a big washer. I don't think that's really big enough, but hard to tell. See what that kind of looks like in there. Not going to hit by much, that's for sure. It's barely hitting on one side only. So, at best, this design sucks. So. Alright, so I'm thinking I'll need a little bit bigger washer than that. And that's a pretty good size washer for what we're doing. It's about as big as you want to get on a 5/16 without going to a fender washer. Alright, so let's go see what we got over here. Gotta find something that looks better than this. There we go. Here's 3/8, but we use a flange nut. We should be alright. And we got flange nuts we're using, so should do the trick, hopefully. Sure it's going to bend and not work for squat, but with a nice locking shoulder nut, flange nut, it'll hit against a big hole and hold just fine. Alright, so trick to this is to use the spring to your advantage. You can rotate it to where you get your fingers in there for the height. Kind of. Easier said than done always. Nope. I was laying on it, but it fell off. A couple of different screwdrivers are trying to help. Didn't help very well. Stud to sit up straight and down would definitely help matters a little bit. So I'm going to get it vertical here. Tall spring is so top heavy, it wants to flop over. Not letting me get my wrench in there where I need it to be. This can definitely be a pain. Ah. thought it was going. Started. There we go. I lifted up to get this washer to help flatten the nut out. There we go. Sometime next year. Alright, it's definitely not a very flat mounting system. Not flat at all. Goes to paint. Alright, I got some tension on it. Not very straight, I'm sure. Yeah, better than I thought it would be. Definitely way better than I thought it was going to be for being square. If you rotate the spring to where you can get to it, it'll be easier, but looks like we're in the back, so it's about the best we're going to get. Alright. You might have to double nut that to make that stay on there, I'm not sure. Definitely not a happy camper. Alright, that works so good, we're going to do it again. See if we get better. Bad vision looking through the top of the spring. See a lot better down here. There we go. Definitely a pain in the butt. closer we'll get on that one. Actually, they're not too bad. They're fairly straight going up and down, and they're fairly equal going that way too. So actually, they're not as bad as I thought they would be. They definitely leaned way forward from the straight, but it's kind of where they want to sit though. So okay, so now we're going to put that up on the bike and see how it kind of looks. So I have a bar here I stuck on here. So this should go across the springs. Yep. Needs to be longer. I thought it looked kind of short. Yeah, kind of short. It's 1.5 inches short. So I need a longer one and probably a bigger diameter one too. So I'll probably go up to a 1-inch diameter. This is probably 5/8. 1 inch is pretty big though, but so I was thinking about doing, if I put a tube right here and weld it to the back of this, this can actually slide down over these pins and you can lift your seat up like this. The problem is this belt buckle's in the way. So depending on where you go in the spring setup, if it goes way back here it's not a problem, but if it goes way tight it would be a problem. I'm not sure if the pivot's going to hit that or not. So that's kind of what I'm thinking I'm going to use. So I have to get some tubing to go around that, or some bar stock and cut them down to be tubing. I'll do that too. So that's the only piece of metal I got's that size. Because I wasn't thinking on using that, I was thinking about using flat bar stock. Something like that. Okay, that'd be about a, that's what a thicker piece of material would look like. But to be that diameter, yeah, that piece is too small. These also, yeah, we'll use this for the mock-up. So that'll give me a rough idea where it's going to sit. Alright, let's see what this looks like. It's too much weight for one hand. There we go, give you the good view. Doesn't look too bad. There we go. It doesn't look bad at all. Just gotta find me a little better piece of material to use for the base. If we slide the seat back, which I didn't really want to do because your legs are getting short, you can actually have the material sit on into that post. It would dowel right into it. I don't know, maybe. That's welding way up front. So if I used a piece of 1.5 inch square, or at least 1 inch square stock, I could put a hole in the pin and put the damn pin in there. Put a washer in there to keep it, to level it out so it sit flat. You could probably make that work. Close. Alright, well, let's see what it does here. Try to get the seat on here and see what it does. Get the camera, we can kind of see what's going to happen here. My leg's going to block the vision a lot. Yeah, we'll put it over here. Alright, we'll try that, see what happens. Ah. Definitely wants to slide back. Springs will be about right. See, my legs are good. I think her legs would be good too. Things kind of slid down here on the back side a little bit here. Alright, so I think definitely using a piece of square stock with 2 holes in there is probably going to do the trick. Keep that as high as we can to the gas tank, probably be best. And the spring weight I think will be good for what we need. It's good for my weight anyway. But I can't really bounce on it too hard yet because of the not being mounted very well. Alright, so we need a piece of 1-inch square stock. That is 13 inches. Could be a little bit less, but not much less. 12.5 minimum. "12" would be too short. So 12.5 inches would probably work about right, and I can make it work. 12 would be bare minimum. Yeah, 12.5 is better. Better to be a little on the long side, a little on the short side. So 12 inches would put me right on the edge of the spring down low here. I'd rather have another corner sticking out like that one behind it is. So you got a good base for it. Seat shifted over to the right a little bit, or to the left right now a little bit, but it'd be over here a little bit more like that. Okay, I think that'll probably work. Before I weld this in, I want to make sure all this is bolted where it belongs. But yeah, I think that'll work pretty good. And you'll be able to pick the seat up to service your stuff there also, which is nice. So yeah, I think that'll all work pretty good. So we need a piece of square stock. All right, I think I'll just pick some of that up Monday. Yeah, should be able to find something. All right, I think that's going to work. Yeah, I wasn't sure how all that's going to fly, but it looks like that'll do the trick pretty good. Should give us good comfort. Got at least a couple inches of travel there for big bumps with no problem. So that should not be an issue. The back of the seat's up in the air, so it'll hold your butt in there really good. When it drops down, you'll still be in there. You won't fall out the back, especially when you're hitting the throttle. If you put these short springs in there, and it would drop down, then it would be more of a problem. Your seat would be more flat, and you'd be kind of falling out of the back of it. So it's better to be like this. It keeps bouncing you forward instead of bouncing you to the back, which is not very comfortable when you're falling off the bike. Okay, so I need to find me a 12.5 inch piece of 1-inch square tubing. I don't see a problem with that. All right, that's it for now.